Simon Idget, we can use the microphone. You want to use the microphone?
We can do no microphone.
Huh?
We can do
okay.
no microphone.
All right.
All right. So, hi. I have books that I'm selling. I have a couple left of the old one. I have a new one that I printed just for Sammy. And I have these that I'm giving away for free. So, feel free to grab one of the free ones or buy one of the ones if you're interested. I'm reading a poem that has multiple dates on it. The earliest I could find is 2004. I put these came out as individual poems in 2004, then I put them together in 2009. I last edited this in 2013. And I found it the other day and I thought this would be cool. It's called Tracks. So it has an introduction and then 3 other parts, and they're all from 2004. So the introduction. It's hard to imagine the world never having existed or ceasing to exist, having begun or ending. Everything runs on tracks, from infinity into infinity, at least in appearance, smoothly transitioning with the distance of time through cycles of rise and fall, golden ages leading logically into depressions, folding back onto themselves through the ages, stone, bronze, iron, steel, dark, light, industrial, information, and through it all, we remain upright apes, wielding tools, simian transcendence and resilience, as nature eludes us and we elude ourselves. Part 1. The current condition of my life, the new situations growing slowly familiar, into which I have thrown myself, has opened doors to ideas and actions which, though not entirely foreign to my mind, are somehow unfamiliar, until I come to realize, to name this collective, a new chapter in the ongoing saga of the struggle of my identity, or lack thereof. I must, out of sheer force of the obvious, come to this conclusion, to reconcile years of exploration, discovery, and theorizing, all the while never forming a conclusion. I am an empty, saturated sponge, tabula rasa, covered in graffiti, nature and nurture imploding. I am the perfect gun. Part 2. At the Nature Center, a mile from my house, I sit in my truck, book propped up on the steering wheel. The purpose of tilt steering finally apparent. The parking lot is busy, right up to until sunset at least, as the stragglers make their way back to their vehicle after a quick jaunt around the pea gravel trail, trailing behind their dogs or children, who are obviously more excited about the air, the trees, about God. The last echoes of daylight fade from the pages of my book, and I too resign from my adventure, turn the key, and return to reality. I left the parking lot in the wake of a 60-something Ford Econoline van, carburetor burning a bit on the rich side. I had seen it here before, on a few occasions, another regular, I suppose, though I never saw the guy who drove it, one of the few visitors who came along to walk the trail just before sunrise. He had pulled out of the lot a few minutes ahead of me, the smell of half-burnt gasoline lingering at the entrance, long enough for me to pull out through its invisible cloud. Part 3. I realized something the other day, triggered by recent events, unrelated occurrences, of which only 2 came to mind. First, a decapitated deer, sprawled on the grass triangle that grows between the highway and the exit ramp to another highway on my way home, caught my eye. Though I passed it driving at least 60, the wound appeared a clean cut, as if intentional. The head was not nearby. Next day, the body was gone, placed with a square crater, a foot deep and 10 across, of bare earth. The second event, from which sprung this revelation, a book I read, centered on the death of a man who recapped his entire life from beyond, oddly appealing. I could not put the book down, read it through in its entirety in less than a day. Then the revelation came to me. In the midst of absent-minded driving, mind wandering, as my subconscious took the wheel. One day I will die, but it is not the prospect of losing the world in which lies my apprehension. It is the last seconds when life ends but before death begins. Tracks. Thanks.
Appreciate that, man.